Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So, if you were looking for the agenda for Tesla's Investor Day, Hey Dave has shared it. These times listed are Central Time, of course, Austin's time zone, and I believe that the live stream on the Tesla YouTube channel will start with the keynote speakers again at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And for tomorrow's video, I plan to upload one in the evening after all of the festivities have wrapped up, going over some of the main takeaways. And no matter what happens or does not happen tomorrow, I just hope that everybody can sit back and enjoy the day. We got Tesla's weekly insurance registration data for the past week. The number came in at 10,705. Here's that data plugged into the table, and if you want to compare it to the same week in quarter 4, this is your number you're looking at, 16,121. But as I've been saying, I don't think that's a wise exercise, and we have to remember that the Model 3 production has essentially been shut down for the past 10 days or so at Giga Shanghai for the supposed upgrades. Here's that same data in a bar chart form, and as we've been saying now for weeks, we should all be expecting a slowdown in quarter 1 and quarter 2. The NEV incentives are now gone. The economic situation in China is definitely not good. They're still dealing with the illness, and consumers seem to be desiring more affordable vehicles that Tesla is not yet offering in this market. So that time will come, and Tesla will just have to weather this season, whether it lasts for 1 quarter or 3. With that said though, if you add up the weekly insurance data for February, that puts us at about 32.2 thousand with a few days left in February. And then if you take the first 2 months of the quarter and add it up, Tesla is actually tracking for the second best first 2 months of a quarter in Giga Shanghai. This bar chart from Roland helps us to visualize this a lot easier. So if you look at the first and second months, the green and the orange bars, as you can see, outside of Q4 last year, so far this is the best first 2 months of any quarter out of Giga Shanghai. I personally just think some people in the Tesla community have had their expectations too high for what they're expecting for Tesla deliveries in the first half of this year, specifically from the Chinese market. After weeks of nonsense articles talking about Tesla in Mexico, we finally get some actual information. AMLO is the nickname for the Mexican president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. The word is, after these phone calls with Elon Musk, Tesla will build a new plant in Monterrey, Mexico, which is indeed in Nuevo Leon. AMLO is saying that Tesla will give more detail on this factory at Investor Day this week. The Mexican president was touting that he got some environmental commitments from Elon and Tesla, including using recycled water throughout the manufacturing process, which does indicate that there will be vehicles being made at this facility. AMLO said, "I want to thank Mr. Elon Musk for being very respectful, attentive, and understanding of the importance of addressing the problem of water scarcity. We are also hearing that additional commitments will also be announced next week." So that could be further economic commitments from Tesla, or it could be commitments from other automakers setting up shop in Mexico. The president did not specify what Tesla would build at the plant, but they are hinting at vehicle assembly that does include painting, and I think the Generation 3 or a more affordable Tesla does make a lot of sense. Why do I think that? Well, for starters, here is Monterrey in Nuevo Leon, which is about a 6-hour drive from Giga Austin. Monterrey is the most populous city of the Mexican state of Nuevo Leon. Workforce. The metropolitan area of Monterrey has a population of over 5 million inhabitants, making it the second most populous metropolitan area in Mexico, behind only Mexico City. It's the second business and financial center of the country, as well as one of the most developed, cosmopolitan, and competitive cities. It serves as the industrial, commercial, and economic epicenter for northern Mexico. These studies are a little subjective, but it's the city with the best quality of life in Mexico. In terms of GDP, it's the second richest city in Mexico by the size of the local economy. And when it comes to Tesla looking to reduce any tariffs for exporting to certain countries, Mexico has 13 free trade agreements with 50 countries, including, of course, the United States, Mexico, Canada. More importantly, though, 10 countries in Latin America. Of course, these numbers are going to vary based on region. However, on average, skilled workers like machinists and welders in Mexico are typically earning between 7 and 8 United States dollars per hour, compared to a similar wage of about $20 to $22 for the same jobs in America, or to be specific, the United States. So if Tesla wants to find a way to sell a $25,000 vehicle, what's one way to help do this? Ensure that the labor costs for making the vehicle are as low as possible. And don't forget, to be eligible for the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits, it's not just the United States, but it's all of North America. So Mexico is squarely eligible for these incentives. So given all of that, the fact that Tesla has that dedicated lane for exporting back to the United States, that Mexico has all of those free trade agreements specifically with Latin America, and as we talked about on Friday, that Sonora lithium mine that Tesla has expressed an interest in, it all really makes a lot of sense. It sounds like Tesla has some solutions to the water scarcity issue in Nuevo Leon, but hopefully we get some more concrete detail at tomorrow's Investor Day. The number one mistake I see in the gym is people not controlling the weight with a targeted muscle. It's not just about moving a weight from point A to B, it's about targeted time under tension. And no, muscle mass is not just about aesthetics. Multiple studies have shown muscle mass correlates with a decrease in all-cause mortality. To build it, we need our bodies recovering properly, and that's how I first found AG1 back in 2020. Athletic Greens is recommended by Huberman, Robin Arzón for my Peloton fans, Lewis Hamilton for my F1 fans, and many others. It's really not complicated. The food industry is a mess. 80% of the food Americans eat is processed. People argue they're too busy to cook good food and eat clean, or they just don't care about their health. Yes, AG1 is the sponsor of this video, but I'd be talking about these things even if they weren't. AG1 is a rare supplement that's both made in a TGA registered facility and certified by NSF, so you can trust that you're getting what's on the label. I drink mine with water, but I know others who add lemon or oat milk or toss it in a smoothie. It's very quick and easy and ensures you have a daily baseline of key nutrients. Every serving of AG1 has 75 vitamins, minerals, and probiotics that most of us are lacking to some degree. You can get 5 free travel packs of AG1 and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2 if you use my link in the description below. It's a great way to support the channel and, more importantly, to support your own wellness. Now, with this one, I do not celebrate the demise of other people or companies. However, I am a fan of justice. After years of incompetence or ignorance or whatever's been going on at Toyota Motors, they finally publicly say everything we have been saying for years. Engineers at Toyota recently conducted a teardown study of the Tesla Model Y. Taking the skin off the Model Y, it was truly a work of art, said one Toyota executive who scrutinized the Tesla part by part. It's unbelievable. From the teardown, Toyota has concluded it has some work to do. A dedicated platform, Tesla has it, Toyota's is under development, not expected until around 2026. Advanced battery, Tesla has it, Toyota's coming soon. And Toyota has acknowledged that cost is an issue. Dedicated EV production sites, Tesla has many of them. Toyota has no dedicated EV lines. The only full BEV, the BZ4X, is actually built on a gasoline electric hybrid and hydrogen fuel cell vehicle line. And software-defined architecture, Tesla has it and wows customers with OTA updates, Toyota not really. Numerous executives describe Toyota's new approach, and Toyota Motor Corp needs a great leap forward for the new era of full EVs. Toyota is getting ready for that jump with a new EV-first mindset. It only took them how many years to get to this point? This situation is forcing a rethink of basic design for manufacturing processes. Toyota executives and engineers are now saying they're aiming to incorporate the best of breakthroughs by the likes of Tesla, and to deliver attractive BEVs to more customers, we must streamline the structure of the car, and with a BEV-first mindset, we must drastically change the way we do business, from manufacturing to sales and service. Apparently, all it took was a teardown of the Model Y for the time now to be right and for Toyota to accelerate BEV development with a new approach, according to the new CEO. Sato said specifically, we'll develop next-gen BEVs for the Lexus brand by 2026 with everything from the battery and platform to how a car is built optimized for BEVs while expanding our current BEV lineup. Expanding should really say starting. The Tesla teardown taught Toyota that the Japanese car company's famed design for manufacturing expertise had been one-upped in many ways. The latest versions of the Model Y looked the same on the outside, but had actually been completely revamped underneath. You don't say. They go on to touch on all of the new manufacturing techniques we've all been talking about here for years and conclude it's a whole different manufacturing philosophy. An exec said, "We need a new platform designed as a blank sheet EV, and full EV startups like Tesla have a significant first mover advantage because they rethink engineering challenges from scratch. First principles thinking." Elon's MO. Another Toyota exec said, "We cannot immediately compete in terms of cost of manufacturing and batteries with companies like Tesla or BYD. Toyota is expected to announce a new global tie-up with an international battery maker in the coming months." Toyota's current e-Tinga vehicle platform now looks old-fashioned in comparison to a gigapressed one. Sato said, "The competitiveness and cost of BEVs is going to be a very big challenge. Once a direction is set, it could take 6 months to a year to churn out a prototype, and we all know prototypes are easy, production is hard." In the meantime, Toyota is pushing a pause on the rollout of some BZ electric vehicles while they figure out what they're going to do. When you're faced with revolutionary change, which is what's happening, the old rules of continuous improvement and Kaizen, which just means continuous improvement, it's a Japanese term, will be too slow. As I said on Twitter, we've been talking about all of these things now for years, so it's just truly absurd to me how it's taken the executives at a $200 billion plus company to figure out these same things that us retail investors have been saying for years. I'm sure some of you will remember that at one point in 2016, Toyota held 2.3 million shares in Tesla, of which they quietly sold all of that year. Now, yes, it would be tough to hold stock of a competitor as Tesla became more and more formidable, but had they held on through all of those share splits over the years, safe to say they would have done incredibly well, and honestly could have funded a large part of their own EV transition. As we've all learned the last few years, it's one thing to talk about it, now let's see what Toyota is going to do about it. Honestly, more pretty big news. We have South Korea's Elon Co., which is a cathode manufacturer, winning a $2.9 billion order from Tesla to provide cathode materials. LNF will supply high nickel cathode materials to be used in the automotive and energy generation and storage sectors. The contract looks to be from January 2024 to December 2025. Materials will be supplied to the United States and other regions. Going to the LNF Co. website and the About Us, you will see since 2010 we have become a global top-tier company in the cathode material business. Perhaps most importantly, when it comes to Inflation Reduction Act incentives, yes, the United States has a free trade agreement with South Korea, so for all of the battery materials and component sourcing requirements, it looks like this will be eligible for the incentives. This roughly $3 billion contract with Tesla is about 4 times the company's sales last year. In terms of trying to backtrack into some math for how much this $3 billion contract will buy, I would just say be careful with all of the calcs. The supplier noted the unit sales price of its materials may increase or decrease over the contract period, depending on fluctuations in lithium prices. A researcher has concluded the contract is for about 77,000 tons of high nickel cathode material, which we could expect in the Semi and the Cybertruck, maybe one day the Roadster, which is equivalent to about 783,000 EVs to be supplied. With a caution on the math, I've seen some people trying to do these 77,000 tons, which is about 69 million kilograms, divided by 783,000 EVs. That would be about 88 kilograms of this high nickel cathode per vehicle. But again, these numbers could definitely fluctuate. Some other people are doing 783,000 EVs times about 75 kilowatt hours per pack with a high nickel chemistry. Usually the LFP packs are the smaller in size, which is about 58.7 million kilowatt hours, and then taking the $2.9 billion contract value divided by the 58.7 million kilowatt hours of cells to get an average price of about $49 per kilowatt hour, which people are saying would be high for just the cathode. But remember, the cathode is the most expensive part of the battery. And again, these numbers are not going to get you exactly where you need to go. They will fluctuate, and I'm sure there's a lot more to the deal. From Drive Tesla Canada, the CCS Retrofit is now here for the Model S and X. The cost in the US is $450, but that does include the price of the adapter, which itself is priced at $175. Unfortunately, it looks like this retrofit has been pushed back for Model 3 and Y owners by several months. Of course, Tesla taking it slow with this Magic Dock rollout. And the rough rule of thumb is that Tesla vehicles prior to 2021 may indeed need this retrofit to be able to charge using the CCS tech. And it sounds like Elon may be looking to start a non-woke version of the ChatGPT, so looking to create a competitor. So the Twitter overhang goes to bed, and now we have the ChatGPT overhang, perhaps. You can find me on Twitter at DylanLoomis22. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.